I'd like to briefly introduce the sixth generation of knowledge management for sustainable development, which is important for the Sustainable Development Goals. First, just a little of the history of knowledge management in development. Uh, Knowledge management, or KM, is considered to have been introduced to the development sector by the World Bank, and in the time since, it's been adopted widely across the sector. Assisting this, the KM for Dev community was founded in 2001 as a global community of practice, and it remains active through until today. So through the history of KM for Development, there's been six generations. The first four are shown here, and then these generations, I should say, are cumulative. So one doesn't replace the previous one, each one adds to the previous one. And then following these four generations, we now have a fifth one. And the fifth generation was proposed 10 years ago by Dr. Sarah Cummings and colleagues. And it has the focus of cross-domain knowledge integration and knowledge co-creation. And there's five features to the fifth generation. We're now moving from the fifth generation to expanding to a sixth generation, and that's been proposed in a new paper that we've published this year in a special issue of the Knowledge Management for Development journal, and it has the focus on decolonization of knowledge. And the slogan for the sixth generation is "We have a dream," which reflects the KM for Dev community's aspirations, and also that the paper was launched in a landmark event at the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Library in Washington, D.C. in May this year. And there are six features to the sixth generation of knowledge management for sustainable development, and they are summarized here. And then some details are given of each of those features on these next two slides. So the features are epistemic justice, anti-racism, Indigenous and local knowledge, diversity and KM approaches, knowledge partnerships, and new knowledge practices. So how can this assist the SDGs and World Bank? Well, sustainable development approaches have typically been formulated in Western countries and then taken to developing countries in what really has to be described as a modern colonial missionary way that really reflects, unfortunately, the colonialism of the past. And these approaches are increasingly failing, as can be seen in the examples on the next three slides. Here we have the Gates Foundation's failing green revolution in Africa, which instead of empowering local people has been found to benefit northern multinational corporations. Similarly, in India, the green revolution has been found to have reinforced inequality. The World Bank introduced the Green Revolution, and while it initially had good benefits, over time those benefits have been found to be far less significant than had been anticipated, or no benefits at all. These failures of what I would describe as knowledge colonialism really highlight the need for the fifth and sixth generations of KM for sustainable development. And while we need scientific knowledge, often from outside, we also very much need those elements of the fifth and sixth generations being Indigenous and local knowledge and ways of knowing. So we really need to be doing a whole lot more asking and listening. And in these final two slides here, we have just the references to what I've said in this particular brief presentation, and I'll be circulating the slides as a PDF to allow you to follow up these references if you would like. So thank you for listening.